All right, everybody, this is the part of the series where I actually want to scare you. This is the part where I want you to take this very, very seriously. And if you stop watching these videos after this point, I am okay with that. I do this because I care about you and I don't want you to get into anything that might actually hurt you. Flipping homes is not for the faint of heart. It's not for people who come into it willy-nilly thinking it's just going to be a way to make a quick buck. This is a business. It's a serious business and you got to treat it like one. If you respect it, it's going to respect you back. And at this point, I just really want to make sure that you understand the seriousness of flipping homes. Here's an example of a property that we lost our shirt on. We went into it. I couldn't see the property because it was an auction. So we had no way of getting into the property before seeing it, and once we got into the property, we realized that we had made a mistake. The number one mistake we made on this first property was that we did not properly estimate the repairs. Second mistake was we did not get to see the property, so inside the basement, we realized that there was no basement. And then finally, the third thing we did wrong was we miscalculated the after repair value, what the property is going to sell after we repair it. Those were our three mistakes on this property, and I hope you can learn from it. We lost over $15,000 on this one. Here's another example of a property that we essentially just absolutely miscalculated. We miscalculated the fact that this property did actually need flood insurance. After being told by one insurance broker that we did not need it, it turns out we did, and that those new buyers needed flood insurance on this, which escalated their payments big time. Which ultimately drove the price of the property down. So again, on this property, we miscalculated what we were actually going to get for it and miscalculated the repairs. We lost $9,800 on this property. One other example of the dangers of flipping houses is this basement in this house was completely covered up when we had purchased it. Now our inspector, we sent our basement person through, but they couldn't go opening the walls up in the basement until we had owned the home. Well, once we had owned the home and we had opened that wall up in the basement, we had realized that there were two major cracks in the foundation, and it was actually leaning in by 1 3/4 in. So that was about a $9,000 bid to fix that wall that we had never even planned on, all because we couldn't see it. When flipping these properties, there's a lot of common denominators that cause us to make that flip a failure. The number one thing that causes us to fail on that individual flip is not understanding what it's really truly going to sell for. The second thing is not understanding the repairs, how much those repairs are actually going to cost. And then the third thing is just unforeseen issues that we did not anticipate coming along and cutting us off at the knees. Everybody at this part of the series needs to understand this. You will lose money in this game if you do it long enough. There is nobody that has a perfect record with doing it. If you do one or two and you're profitable, that's so great, that's so amazing, but you do need to understand that this is a financial risk. You're investing your time, your money, your resources, and with those comes risk. There's also really high reward, but at this point in the series, we want to make sure you really understand that this is a very serious business. It is such a big deal when you lose money on a job because you will, if you have 5 or 6 jobs going on and you made the same mistake and you didn't have time to react on your other jobs, it can negatively impact all of them if you had the same mistake in those as well. When you miscalculate what that property is going to sell for, it adds time to your job, and that time costs money. I've seen jobs cost as much as $100 to $200 a day for every day that it sits on the market. And you think that that might be high. Well, you have taxes, you have insurance, you have mortgage, you have principal interest payments. You add all those things up, and maintenance, lawn care, utility bills, it comes out to pretty close to that on almost all of our jobs. So it's very important that these jobs keep moving. You guys, another mistake that I am seeing a lot in this industry, especially now with the real estate market picking up and things being a little bit hotter for them, is I see newbie investors coming into this arena and they are way overpaying for their properties. Now what that does is when you overpay for that property, you can never come back from it. So if you're buying this property to flip and you're overpaying it, you will never be out of it. Most professional investors will tell you that you make your money when you buy, and when you miscalculate what it's going to sell for, what the repairs are, and what you're going to sell it for, ultimately coming down to your bid, and you overbid on these properties, there is no way you are going to recoup that money unless you hold on to it for 5-10 years and take advantage of an upcycle and appreciation. So the risks of doing this inappropriately or just rushing into a flip that you don't know anything about, the risks are you could be potentially holding that property for years in order for you to make a profit. I want to make sure that everybody understands that they should be talking to a real estate attorney and a real estate accountant. The things that we're showing you here today, if you have those two people and they're really good on your team, it just increases your chance for success. You should have a really good real estate attorney, a really good real estate accountant, a real estate agent, and good contractors. Those things are all going to lead to your success. Those things, if you do them wrong, are also going to contribute to the dangers of flipping. You should also find a mentor or a coach. It is very, very important for your success if you have someone who's already paved a little bit of the path for you. Find someone that's done this before and going in the direction that you want to go, and align yourself with them. Don't go into the relationship thinking you're going to take from them. Go into the relationship adding value, saying, I want to learn from you, and I also want to increase your value as well. Sorry for all the doom and gloom, but if you're ready to commit to this, you can move on in the series. But I really want to make sure I'm painting a dark enough picture that this is a very serious business, and it can be a very high risk business if you don't know what you're doing. Take the time, get educated, find a mentor, make an awesome team, and then go for it. If you're ready to commit, move on in the series.